Hello, Attorney Brian Barboza here, a bankruptcy attorney. Today I'm going to discuss whether or not bankruptcy will help you with an auto repossession or a debt arising from an auto repossession. Before we get started, if this is an issue that you're dealing with or you want to discuss bankruptcy or your bankruptcy options, please feel free to give me a call or go to my website, barbozalaw.com, and you can book an appointment with me directly through my website. All right. So will bankruptcy help an individual with an auto repossession or a debt arising from an auto repossession? This is an issue I commonly have to deal with. A lot of times people will come to me and they've had a vehicle repossessed and they may have even already been sued for that repossession or the debt that has remained after the repossession, or they're just getting a lot of collection letters and threats of a lawsuit. So in that instance, when the vehicle has already been repossessed, what will happen is the lender will then demand that you pay them the difference between what the vehicle was sold for and what was owed, and plus perhaps some of their costs and fees. And that can actually become a large amount of money. And if you don't pay it, they can sue you and get a judgment. So if you were to file bankruptcy, the short answer is yes. That debt, whatever amount it is, would be dischargeable in your bankruptcy case. So scenario one is you've already lost possession. They've already either sold the vehicle and sued you, or sold the vehicle and they're demanding money from you. And in that instance, if you were to file bankruptcy, that debt will go away. Scenario number two that I see oftentimes is that the vehicle was just repossessed. The lender has not yet sold it, and you want to know if bankruptcy can get the car back for you. And it used to be very simple. The answer used to be yes. You would file what's called a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and then they would have to give the car back. Recently, a Supreme Court decision came down that held that if the lender already has possession of the vehicle before you file your bankruptcy case, they do not have an obligation to turn it over, whereas they automatically had an obligation before. So if you were to have an automobile repossessed and then you filed bankruptcy before they sold it, you may or may not be able to get that car back. The lender doesn't have to give it back to you voluntarily, so you would have to actually get a bankruptcy court order that they hand the car or turn the car back over to you. That may or may not be in your best interest. At that point, my advice would probably be let it go, because you're going to get out from under the debt. The car is probably worth less than what you owe on it. You can go out and get another car, probably the same type of car for less money. And you've already shown a propensity of not being able to make those payments. So if you were to get the car back, there's a high probability that you may end up missing those payments again, and you're kind of back in the same mess you were in before. So my more real world advice or commonsensical advice would be, at that point, just let the car go, get out from under the debt, and go get another car. The third scenario is where they have, you still have a car, but you're starting to fall behind on payments, and you know they're going to come take it at any moment. And so the question is, will bankruptcy stop them from coming and taking the car? And the answer is yes. If you have possession of the vehicle and then you file bankruptcy, the lender cannot then come and repossess the car. Now, the type of bankruptcy you file would be important, because if you file what's called a Chapter 7, you're only going to have a few months to catch up on those payments. And if you don't catch up before that Chapter 7 is over, then the lender, in all likelihood, right when the bankruptcy is over, is going to come and take the car. If you were to file a Chapter 13, which is a plan of reorganization, which will give you 3 years up to 5 years to catch up on your missed car payments, then you would be able to keep the car, catch up on those car payments over time. Of course, you'd have to stay current on all future car payments that came due. And then when you got done with bankruptcy, you would be caught up on your car payments, and you'd probably have the car paid off by that time, and then you'd go on with your life. So to quickly recap, there's really 3 scenarios when it comes to auto repossessions and bankruptcy. Number 1, you've lost the car, they've already sold it, they're coming after you for the debt. In that instance, the bankruptcy will get you out from under that debt. Scenario number 2, you lost the car, the lender hasn't yet sold it, you file bankruptcy. If you do a Chapter 13, you might be able to get the car back if you get a court order requiring it to be turned back over to you, but that's probably not a good idea. or in that instance, you just do a bankruptcy and get out from under the debt so they would not be able to sue you in the future. And then scenario number 3, you're behind on your car loan and they have not come and yet taken the car. In that instance, it's kind of a race to the bankruptcy court. You file bankruptcy, they cannot take the car while you're in bankruptcy. If you do a Chapter 7, you would have to catch up on those payments really, really quick, like within a month or two. If you do a Chapter 13, you'd have about 3 to 5 years to catch up on those payments. Of course, you'd have to start making your regular car payments right away as well and stay current. So that's it. That's how bankruptcy will help you with an auto repossession and or a debt that arises from an auto repossession. If this is an issue that you're dealing with, please don't hesitate to give me a call or book an appointment directly with me through my website, barbozalaw.com. I'd love to talk to you. And like always, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And have a good rest of your day. Take care. Bye.